I think that Kenyan politicians exploit Kenyans' belief in God to remain lazy and to not fulfill their social contract as a government. I'll preface this by saying that this is not a critique on religion or in the belief of God. I believe that religion does have its function in society, but I often feel as if when we talk about how religious Africans are, we literally forget that there is a reason why, and the reason is because they have no other option. When you live in a country where even getting a job without connections or coming from an affluent family is impossible, you can only believe that the way you are going to get yourself out of poverty, the way you're going to move up social classes is through God Himself picking you to become successful. And I think because we talk about the economic system or just society in general as things that cannot be changed, as boogeyman that we have no control over, instead of seeing them for what they are, these are systems that are being perpetuated by everyone. Like, we all play a role and we can all change it. Whatever is happening in Kenya is oppression by the political class. Like, there's people actively exploiting Kenyans, and that is what people have to understand. It is not blessings. It is not God choosing someone. It's people actively doing wrong. And because it feels impossible that the government might start caring about you or make your situation better, and even more importantly, that we can hold them accountable when they are not fulfilling their social contract, it becomes easier then to believe that the Almighty has a plan for you to take you out of poverty, to choose you as one of the few that get to be successful. And I hate when I see politicians have made an appearance at a church. I hate it because it's hypocrisy. Like, people are hypocritical about like religion and stuff all the time, but this is hypocrisy pro max. Like, it actually gets my blood boiling. I don't even know how they sleep at night because they've exploited and oppressed people so much that the only way people can envision a healthy and happy life that they deserve is through a higher being. You are being paid millions. You're just sitting there eating people's money without fulfilling your social contract. And you leave people so vulnerable to narcissistic religious leaders. Like, yeah, it becomes so, like, cheap to go get prayed for and, you know, not go seek treatment at a hospital because you can barely afford it. Like, what? And because there's no system set up, especially in post-colonial African states, about how we can hold the government accountable efficiently, we kind of resort to protesting, to more extreme measures because they would not listen to us otherwise. And I think the reason why I even literally the reason I talk about these things is to let people know that it's not normal, it's not okay. Like, the fact that there's a huge wealth gap, the fact that there's people who are living under $2 a day is not good, you know, but also to like let people know that we can change things and that we should get more empathy and we should, you know, just be desensitized to people suffering so that if we go into leadership roles, if we go into politics, we are very, very empathetic and actively do our jobs.
Bunge, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BAV. This is Bunge Audiovisual. And yeah, we're back to another episode. This is a place where we tackle the real life issues affecting society. And today, we discuss something that many have noticed, but few only talk about. And you've seen the lady talk about how African politicians use religion to exploit their people. History of religion mazee mmeongelea ni aje? Hata nasikia mmenibo, but I think it's good to keep on preaching because wanasemanga mtu anatia bidii kwa maisha pia atakuwa rewarded. So acha niweke bidii niendelee kupreach kama huyo dem. And let us just be clear. This is not an attack on religion or faith in God, because religion has a powerful role in shaping morality, values, and culture. But the question you also need to ask yourselves is what happens when politicians hijack it? Because they understand that human beings have emotions, and emotions can be hacked. And that is the reason as to why most politicians use this terminology of religion, or rather the church, to try and hack your emotions, because they know wherever we have masses, logic fails to take over. Whatever takes over is emotions. And by knowing that emotions usually take over in places that are controlled by crowds, that is when faith is twisted into a tool of control, keeping the people oppressed while those in power continue to thrive. You all know these things. You've seen in campaigns. You've seen these politicians holding so many rallies in different occasions. Wanakuja hapo wanasema, oh, unajua mimi ni mtu wa kanisa, sijui nini nini. And now because anasema ni mtu wa kanisa na kuna father kwa hapo kumwendoza ama padre ama pastor, now it becomes, oh, by the way, this guy is a very good guy. He has been doing this and that. And you know the guys I'm talking about. But in this episode, you're going to explore a powerful statement made by that Kenyan lady who exposed how politicians weaponize religion so that they continue remaining lazy and avoid responsibility. Yet on the other side, most of the citizens in this particular country are languishing in poverty. A larger percentage of the people living within the bounds of Kenya are living below the poverty lines. And she's warned that instead of working hard to improve the country, leaders have conditioned people to believe that only God can change their lives, when in reality, it's the government's failure that keeps them poor and struggling. All day, any day, all day. We imagine, msana kuja na kupreachia, oh, unajua nafaa mkuwe na patience, Mungu atakuja atafanya mambo yenu. We understand that. Of course, ukiwork, ukigrind, we do understand that if you grind and pray, I think you're going to move mountains. But this guy comes and tells you, but musijali, hii barabara atengeneza lakini mjikaze tu. Mimi nitaombea, mambo itakuwa sawa, mniombe. Nizidi kuwa na uhai niwatengenezee barabara. Mniombe, sijui nifanye nini kuja hivi. Mniombe, sijui it becomes so difficult. So it leaves people in a limbo. Wanashanga, ni maombi, tuenda kwa maombi ama tutaamua tufanye kazi yetu kivyetu. Jua sasa pia ni kuna vile tuchanganya. So let us just buckle up because this one is very very deep and I would like to discuss it at length or rather at large, ndani kwa ndani, because the problem, if we talk about the problem that we are having right now as a country, because apart from blindness, the second most cause of blindness, apart from cataracts in this particular nation of ours, is religion. That one you must agree with me. Because religion, if you talk about religion as a tool of control, I'm going to give you a breakdown of whatever I'm talking about. Because in many African countries, religion is deeply embedded in the daily life. And people turn to faith for hope, strength, guidance, and they turn to it in a very, very rightful manner. But politicians know this and they usually exploit it to their advantage. You get? And some of you might be asking me, how do politicians just wake up one day and try to exploit people? Yet we've got people in the church when you're watu about morality. Mambo ya values, nini. How? They do so by constantly appearing in churches. Vile dem amesema. Kila time sponsoring religious events and quoting scriptures while doing absolutely nothing to improve the lives of the very, very people they claim to serve. Mtu anakuja anatoa 4M. Anasema hii 4M nimepata kwa sababu mimi nimefanya kazi ya Mungu. Na kwa sababu mimi nilifunzwa na mambo ya Mungu, I'm going to give this 4 million to the church, members of the clergy, mgawane mkule lunch. Na nyinyi watu mko mmejaa hapo kwa you among the congregation. Your work is to clap. And after you've clapped, you need to go back home and think about your life. That is the bitter truth. They constantly appear in churches, they sponsor religious events and quote scriptures, then end up thanking everyone for having prayed for them. Then everybody, when you're congregation, your work is to clap, your work is to go back home and think about your life. Think about yourself and start from scratch, wherever you are. So this lady in the video made a very, very important point. And she said that Kenyan politicians use religion to make people accept suffering as part of God's plan, instead of demanding better governance. Hata we niambie, we've read the Bible, na tusidanganyane. The Lord doesn't enjoy seeing his people suffer. He doesn't. Hata Job alisuffer lakini alikuja akapata nini? Akapata maisha mazuri mbeleni. So we don't even know if Job's story is the reality. But Job ndo apate maisha mzuri akukatwa alafu Mungu akampatia. He worked for it. Alijituma. Hakukatwa ati Mungu atanisaidia. No. Because you need to think about it. How often have you heard leaders say things like, let's pray for the economy to improve, instead of fixing the economy? At God will provide jobs for the youth, instead of creating opportunities for the youth. Man, we've got so many manufacturing companies in this particular country. We need divine intervention for our problems to be able to come to an end, instead of actually solving the problems. Wewe unaona barabara ni mbaya, then you're telling people to pray for me so that barabara itakuwa mzuri. I know how barabara iko na pothole, you want to pray so that the pothole can be able to fix itself. In which world? Not this galaxy, maybe another one, but in this one of ours sijawahi fikiria kitu kama inaweza happen. You're telling people that God is going to provide jobs for them, yet we've got industries in the country that but yenye mmeimposia very very harsh policies zenye zinafanya hata zimekuwa ngumu hata kuemploy watu juu the same industries zenyewe hata zipate pesa enough yenye nzebo kwa able kusustain workforce itakuwa ina recruit. And now you are here preaching to people that God is going to provide jobs for them. Which jobs? So this isn't just faith, it's total manipulation. And you need to understand me, ladies and gentlemen. The reality is that poverty is a system, not a test from God. You need to understand one thing. Poverty is a system, not a test from God. Because one of the most dangerous things politicians have done is to convince people that the poverty is a divine test rather than the result of bad governance. Poverty is a system, not a test from God. Hiyo mnafaa mko mnajua. And that poverty is a divine wanataka kusema they try and convince people that poverty is a divine test rather than the result of bad governance. It's not a divine test. It's bad governance. Look at the countries like China, whereby people don't believe in God, neither are they Muslims. Look at the economy. The economy is thriving. Hasa tambu stories juu ya Bible, they don't. Look at countries where people don't take meat. They don't take, lakini when it comes to matters concerning infrastructure, wako huko juu kileleni, top notch. Yet sisi wenye tunasema mambo ya God, mambo ya scriptures na manini, we are the poorest, we are the dirtiest, we are the filthiest country with the most confused and incompetent leaders. Yet we are here saying, we are here believing that poverty is a divine test. Never it is. It's never a divine test and never will it be. It's a result of bad governance. Because these guys know. Because they have created a system where if you don't come from a wealthy or well-connected family, you feel like you'll never move up in life. It's either you go the other way, you have crime. Na pia kwa crime kama pia una networks, bado you find yourself behind bars. Yani by any means necessary umefanya yani njia yote ndio ufanye kitu yote kuwa successful. Even if it's a bad thing, hata kama ni shortcut. Make sure unafanya shortcut ndio time unaganda, you have somebody at least to pardon you. So, and you need to understand that instead of holding leaders accountable, people are being told at the same time that to pray for better days and to wait for God's time. This is a God's time, aje. Hi. You are waiting for God's time, and some countries out here even don't believe in God, and their economy is thriving. Aye, bwana, hapana bwana. You need to be honest. This is not just about God choosing winners and losers. It's about how governments deliberately keep certain people poor by failing to provide for them. Mnasianga unequal distribution of resources. Class 5 in social studies. Tulikuwa tunasoma factors affecting the country's economy. Kitu inafanya economy yetu kama country inakuwa chini, poor transport and communication. Your dad alisomeshwa same thing. Wewe kasomeshwa the same thing. Your child is also going to go through the same system. Atapewa the same results. Ndio kwa kupita mtihani lazima ajaze hapo poor transport and communication, poor infrastructure, poor bad government policy. Waandike poor healthcare system, waandike unemployment. Those are the answers zenye zinasaidia mtu kupita mtihani ndio ende campus akose job. Hey. Government imeshinda tu kuprovide quality education. Very very simple. Job opportunities kuprovide imeshindwa. Forget about even providing job opportunities. Providing a conducive environment for companies to be able to employ the youth or people who are qualified for their respective positions. Government imeshindwa. We don't even have something called a minimum wage in a country like Kenya as you are speaking right now. Since 1963, hatuna kitu inaitwa minimum wage. But we want everybody to stay and not complain. Even affordable healthcare systems zetu meka hazifanyi, zimeganda. I don't know she for sure chini. We have got a very corrupt free system We don't even have a corrupt free system. Sorry for that. We don't even have a corrupt free system, but we want to keep on telling people, oh, we need to do no. You cannot say this you cannot make such kind of statements as politicians. Yet the same politicians who are paid millions from taxpayers money, wanaishi kwa nyumba ziko fiti, they have so many things. Unaona the world is so abundant, lakini unaona kama mwananchi anashangaa, world is abundant, what do you mean by the world being abundant? Who is supposed to be fixing these problems that you're talking about? Are they the people themselves, or are they the people that are they the citizens themselves, or are they the leaders that keep on standing in churches telling people to just have faith? Because we understand faith is important, because faith without action is dead. You najua Bible ilisema. What if leaders refuse to take action? Watu waendelee kuwa na faith, si ndio? People must wake up and demand change, bwana. Because this woman didn't just highlight the problem, she offered a solution. She said people must stop sitting back and waiting for God's chosen leader to fix things. Because politicians are not chosen by God, they are elected by the people themselves, and they must be held accountable. She also ended up pointing out something critical, that people should not get tired of demanding their rights. If politicians fail to serve the people, they should be confronted, criticized, and be removed from office if necessary, with immediate effect. Haraka. Because she knows the rules are staked, the deck is staked, the rules are rigged. And yet every election season, we see the same leaders walking into churches, speaking the same language. So so these guys, in every election season, we see the leaders walking into churches, speaking the same language of faith and making empty promises, only to disappear once they secure power. And this has been a cycle that has been happening kila wakati tulikuwa tunaona hizo vitu zikifanyika, but it's so unfortunate that people are so blind, people are so ignorant, to the point that they can't even be able to see whatever I'm talking about. So as you talk about matters to do with faith and responsibility, because faith, in as much as faith inakwanga poa sana mtu akifanya kitu, we need to understand that once again, this is not just an attack on religion. Faith is a very, very powerful tool, and belief in God gives people strength. There's nothing as good as having a very strong nation, a nation that believes in God, but at the same time has got responsible leaders who can be held accountable. But faith should never be a tool of oppression. Religion, at the same time, is supposed to uplift the people, not to be used as a way to keep them silent, or rather a way to hoodwink the people. Because the next time a politician tells you just pray for better days, ask them. You also need to ask them, what are you doing to fix these things? What is this that you're trying to do to ensure that our nation gets better as the days and years unfold? That will make us at least to feel encouraged to continue praying for you, so that this God that you want us to pray to should be able to give you good health because of the good work that you're doing, to ensure that we also get to see the kind of candidate that we like to see in the next 2 or 3 years. So before you ask us to pray to God, you also need to ensure that you are doing something that will motivate us as a nation to pray for you, because you exude those characteristics, or rather the traits of a good leader, so that we continue praying for you as a leader, so that you get to soar to great heights as a leader, so that you continue getting God's blessings for you to be able to continue doing good work. So I'll say that's it for today, because if this matter that I've discussed opens your eyes, share this with a friend. It's time people start thinking critically and demanding better leadership. So, and also end by asking you guys, do you think politicians use religion to manipulate people, or get stories of jaba, or I don't know. Let's continue the conversation in the comments. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section below. And remember that faith is a very, very powerful tool, but accountability is even stronger than faith, because the combo of the two, when the two are gelled together, it means that our nation can be propelled to heights that are so unimaginable, and to heights that will be able to save the incoming generation. So until next time, this is Bunge Audiovisual. I'm your G Buffet. Stay informed, stay empowered, and thank you for the 300 subscribers. Stay tuned for more updates. Keep on subscribing to my channel.